sort of basic and 5 being an avid user. Where are you in the Canva journey? And have you been using any of the Canva AI features such as Dreamlab or Magic Studio, Magic Write? And welcome, Cami. Thanks for joining us. So Leslie says she uses Canva daily, but not much in the AI department. Maybe after today that will change. Ooh, Rebecca's used Dreamlab with her students for creative writing. Excellent. That's probably, I would say, one of the best outcomes of using the image tools in the Magic Studio or Dreamlab is that it really works on students' creative writing and descriptive writing. All right. So some of you might have been familiar with the Magic Studio and the Magic Media app in Canva. Apparently, Magic Media still works in Canva. I thought it was going away once Dreamlab was implemented. It looks like they are sort of both running, but not always consistently, Magic Media. So Dreamlab is the new feature that allows you to create AI image generated images in Canva. It no longer runs as an embedded app in a project. So it is sitting on the homepage, and I'll show you how to get there. We in Prairie Rose are Canva, we're a Canva district. And so every employee and student in Prairie Rose has a Canva Pro account that gives every one of those users up to 500 Dreamlab uses in each calendar month. So it'll refresh at the first of each month if they actually work through all 500 credits. That's a lot to get through. So Rebecca mentioned that she's using it for creative writing, and I just have a short list. This is not an extensive list of some of the ways that you can use Dreamlab. So custom illustrations for your writing stories or textbooks, even key concepts, character designs, enhance your descriptive writing, like Rebecca said, a historical scene recreation. One thing to note, though, is that Canva and most AI image generators don't recreate real people. So if you ask it to create an image of Joe Biden, for example, it will tell you that it's against their user agreement. So the historical scene, if you're asking it to recreate certain people, it might. In some cases, like for example, Albert Einstein, it will generate somebody that looks fairly similar to him. But for, I would say, modern or present day characters, often it doesn't. I tried to recreate The Rock, and Dwayne Johnson did not meet their user agreement. Art history projects, it does do a really nice job of generating artwork inspired by famous artists, science visualizations, or like we've already discussed, it's just excellent practice for creating writing prompts. So let's just get into our Dream Studio. Okay. I'm just making sure you see what I see. Okay. Okay, so from our Home tab in Canva, you'll find Dreamlab down here in the bottom left-hand corner. So it just says Dreamlab here over in the bottom corner. It kind of looks like a window into maybe some mystical land. So you just need to click on it. I would say that mostly this operates just like Magic Media used to. You can describe your prompt in here. What Magic Media also was choosing your output style. So that's just down here where it says select a style. And so you can see that there's quite a few options to choose from. And you can leave it as none, which is like it just selects it on its own. It also has an output style for the size that you'd like to create your image to be. So I'm just going to leave it as a square today. I've already put in a few prompts. So one of them was illustrate a panoramic view of the Great Wall of China stretching over rolling hills and mountains, include travelers walking along the wall with banners fluttering in the wind and a clear sky above. So Dreamlab always generates 4 different images for you to choose from. And whenever I've done this with classes of students, I like to have conversations with them about some of the mistakes that AI uses when generating images. So maybe let's just take a look at these and see if you can point out any of the concerns that you might point out with any of the 4 images. If you wanted to turn on your mic and shout them out, or if you wanted to type them in the comments, that would be great. I'm just noticing in image 3 here, there's a flag or a banner that's just sort of floating in the sky. It's not actually attached to anything. In image 2, I haven't visited the Great Wall of China, so tell me if this is inaccurate, but there's like a mid-wall in the middle of the pathway. Is that accurate? Yeah, good noticing, Cami. The people are period travelers rather than tourists. Perhaps they are tourists from that time period. I'm also not well versed in Mandarin, so I'm not sure if the characters are accurate. But as you can see, there's a lot of great things that are in these images, but some of them do have some questionable things. One way to use the images then is you can just simply click on that image that you like the best. And if I don't know, did that pop-up show on your screen? Yeah, it did. Perfect. So when I clicked on it and it enlarged, you can see actually that the Chinese characters from that flag are not on the flag anymore. So you can choose to edit it in a design. And when you do that, it's going to open it up as a new project. And what this will allow you to do is use any of the image Magic Studio tools to make edits to those inaccuracies or mistakes that the image created or the generator created. So I'm going to use Magic Grab. Are you seeing this window? Can you confirm that for me, Cami? Yes? Okay, great.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm in the design studio. Okay.
I'm not sure if we're seeing. Okay, so click. We're not. Yeah,
Are you
click on
seeing me
that.
editing the image?
We're not seeing. Oh, maybe the
Am I a
live
little
parts. Like
uncomfortable?
as you click,
Yeah.
we're not seeing what it's doing. I think we're not seeing that.
Oh, no, I think you are actually. Do you see the flag turn purple? Let's see. Did the sky just turn purple on your screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I don't actually want to get rid of the sky. The sky is fine, so I will unselect that. But these 2 flags that are just sort of floating midair, I think I'm going to get rid of those. And I'm just going to say grab. You'll notice that the tails of these kites or these flags did not select, so just pieces of them did, but I could just yank those out of the image. When I select my original, now those flags are gone. I can click on edit again, and let's try Magic Eraser this time. So there's two options in Magic Eraser. There's the brush tool and the click tool. I don't know if it'll translate that where I don't think you saw the sort of click over where it sort of does a wave over the image, but I'm going to try the brush tool this time and see if it can capture these little characters and the tails. Let's see if it knows what to do. So you can see my brush tool sort of turns purple, whatever it is that I want to erase. I can adjust the brush tool, the cursor size just over here with this slider tool. I'm just going to click erase and we'll see what happens. Sometimes it does a fabulous job like that, and sometimes it's terrible. So that's actually quite nice. I like that. Okay, let's head back to our homepage and into Dreamlab. Okay, one of the other ways that I like to use this is to, where did my prompt go? Design an alternate book cover. So I was just messing around here. So tell me a title of a book cover that we should recreate. You can enter it in the chat or turn your microphone on. Whoever gets to it first gets to decide. Wonder. Okay, so design an alternate book cover for the novel titled Wonder, and some things that we want to include in our alternate cover. Rebecca, either you're up or somebody else in the comments. I might need help with Wonder. I'm not sure I know the story well enough. What are some things that should show up in our alternate book cover? Is anyone else a fan of the book Wonder? Okay, well, we can change the title. What would you like to pick instead? Kids, Illustrate Kids, The Night Before Christmas. Oh, that one I can help with. The Night Before Christmas. So illustrate. Oh, what should we put on this one? There's lots of choices for this. Stockings, illustrate a fireplace mantle with stockings. And is Santa sneaking down the chimney? And a skeleton. Okay. With Santa sneaking down the chimney and a skeleton. Okay. I love it. Here we go. Let's choose an output style. So one of the ones I really like to, when I work with students, choose is pop art. It is very, you can see from the choice here, it's very bright or vibrant, and he often uses like neon and non-traditional colors. So let's see what happens there. We may see why working on our descriptive writing and prompts makes a huge difference in how we put our input for our output. So in the first one, we're missing our Santa Claus. Any other things to point out with our four images from from the image generator? Notice the skeleton's composition in the first image. He is one with the stool. Look at the title in the second. I'm not sure who Shendo Niskels is. Yeah, exactly, Leslie. What does that even say? I actually am, I have to say, I'm quite surprised that it got any of the text correct. If you look at the second one, the night before and Christmas, so before and Christmas has extra letters. The first one is, I think, quite accurate. The third image spelling looks fairly accurate. Santa's legs are on backwards. And in the fourth one, it says alternate book style, which is something we don't really want. And the skeleton's like missing some of his body parts, which maybe for a skeleton isn't too bad. So any of these images you could select and use any of those editing tools. If we choose to regenerate the image and make adjustments to our prompt, you'll notice, I don't know if you can see up here, but I'm down to 496 credits. So each time I do make an adjustment to my prompt, it will use up a credit. 500 is a lot. I have yet to come close to using 500 in a month. Look at Santa's legs in number 3. Yeah, his legs are on backwards. I didn't specify the number of stockings, so it's interesting that each image has a different number and they're a different set of colors. So we could have said a set number, we could have said a certain color, and it may or may not get it right. We could include things like make sure there's a Christmas tree in the background. It's interesting that Santa's not sneaking down the chimney in any of our pictures. Okay. Just going to find my window here. Okay. There's actually another one that I wanted to show you for an image prompt, which is using the image generator to create things like scientific images. So I'm just going to try to get back here to show you Dreamlab. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I have a pre-generated prompt that I worked on ahead of time. So design an image illustrating a simple lever in use within a playground setting. Show a child playing on a seesaw, highlighting the fulcrum and the forces at work. Incorporate labels to identify the effort, load, and fulcrum, and use arrows to indicate the direction of forces. So based on our few prompts and generations so far, how well do you think it's going to get the labels and the arrows? I'm going to change this to a cinematic concept. So it's going to look more like a textbook image, so to speak. And let's see how well it can generate an image with the labels and the arrows accurately. So the principles of a lever in the image 1 looks accurate. Effort, load, fulcrum. We're missing some of the labels here. Effort, load, and fulcrum are all in one spot. The arrows are not accurate at all. The humans actually are fairly decent. Their body parts are all, I think, accurate and normal. Nobody's feet are on backwards. And actually, the hands mostly look normal, which is a usual issue when it comes to image generation. Did it get any of the labels correct? Where are my elementary science teachers at to help us out? Yeah, the seesaws aren't actually seesaws. Isn't that true? Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I hadn't even looked at that part yet. I was looking at the humans first. So we have no seesaws. So the fulcrum definitely cannot be accurately labeled. Interesting. So let's see what happens when I change it from cinematic to illustration. Let's see if it can do a better job of generating something. Maybe it will get the seesaw right. I still have doubts about no, it did not get it right. So it looks like it's trying to make a saw horse rather than a seesaw. Interesting. So these are not very good image generations at all. Try teeter totter. Okay, let's do that. Show a child playing on a teeter totter. Okay. Are there any other suggestions to make for changes before I hit enter? Teeter totter. There we go.
What's interesting? I won't talk.
I'm not sure why that's happening. Maybe you could just type it in the comments. Well, this is interesting. Teeter totter did not get improved at all. I wonder if we take out some of the labeling pieces, if that's going to fix the problem. Oop. Look at that image 2 is trying really hard to be a seesaw, but it still isn't accurate. Yeah, isn't that funny? I know. It's so funny how image generation. So Leslie said if she Googles seesaw, it shows a real seesaw. So it's really interesting that in image generation, it just can't quite get it right. All right, let's just see for a second here.
I think
if I turn my mic off, is that going to make your echo stop? Or maybe turn your speaker off. Okay, I'm just going to stop presenting for a second. I think we have time to try one more. Let's see here. Where did it go? Okay, this might be risky. I didn't test this one. Okay, you can see me again. Okay, so create an image of a human digestive system as a vibrant educational diagram. Include the key organs like stomach, intestines, and liver labeled clearly. Use bright colors to differentiate each organ and show the pathway of food as it travels through the system. Whew, this might be worse than the seesaw. Oh, not bad, actually. I'm a little bit shocked that doesn't look nearly as bad as I expected it to look. It's interesting that the playground situation didn't turn out, even though that's like recreating a real scene. The human digestive system, I haven't marked it all to make sure that it's accurate, but it looks like it's mostly right. We asked it to use vibrant colors. We didn't say accurate colors, so that is okay. I don't think that's a pancreas in the first image, but it's interesting that when we try to create things that are real and existing, it struggles. When we ask it to create things that are artistic in nature, it's generally less struggle for it to happen. Well, yeah, there is a little, I don't know if there's some accuracy. Fair point, Cami. She's saying I don't think there isn't any accuracy. It looks like it kind of got the body parts mostly in the right spot, but the labels are wrong. Maybe it's kind of hard to tell when they're not quite the right colors. So this could be an interesting activity with students to find what the mistakes are, what it should be. That's possible. Our prompt seems quite good, so I'm not sure that's sort of the problem there. I was just going to show you one I had done ahead of time to design an alternate book cover for Charlotte's Web. So I asked it to illustrate a spider in a web on a farm with a pig and other farm animals. It didn't really create something unique. If we look at these images, they're not necessarily the same as the book, but they're not really different or alternate. And perhaps that's because my prompt didn't have something very specific to make it significantly different. Writing the prompts to put into your image generator is probably the hardest part of the activity. But what I love about the Canva Magic Studio is that once you've created any of these images, you can take them into a project and then use any of those image editing tools to make changes. So if we were to edit this one in design, I think you'll still see what I'm working on here. We can go to grab text, sorry. It's going to scan the book and look for text. I was hoping that it would find just that one. Let's see if it can just pull the top stuff. Let's see what happens here. So I've selected all the text. And then I clicked on grab text. And so this does actually allow me to move this around, and I could just take it off the page and add my own if I wanted. If I made a mistake, I can always go back and do undo and bring it back to the screen. All right, it's 3:59. Are there any questions or desires to see anything in Magic Studio with Canva?
I think one of the things that we really saw today, Kellyanne, is that there's like AI is still relatively new, and there's things that it's really terrible at. And one of them is, I mean, even an image generation is a good place to start with your kids. But you mentioned how much better it is at the imaginary, the things that haven't been created yet. So if it doesn't exist, a purple unicorn eating an ice cream cone, right? Those kinds of things it does better at. It has more room. But when we ask AI to try to create something that already exists, a labeled diagram, a seesaw with a fulcrum, it's not there yet accurately. It's guessing,
right?
It's taking what it knows and it's putting together. So this is a really good example of how, for lots of those cases, you would have gotten there far faster to Google a diagram of a digestive system, or diagram as playground with a seesaw and Simple Machines. So a reminder that just because AI exists, there's things that we should absolutely use it for, but those kind of some of the existing things that exist that are, especially when it comes to labels or those kinds of things, AI isn't there yet. It will be, but right now, it's just not there yet, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I take pictures of students and make them into an example of a fireman? That's an interesting question, Leslie. At this point, if you put an image, even though it says, I don't know if you saw that in the Dream Lab. Let me see if I can show you that. What screen are you seeing right now?
Your list of uses.
Okay, so let's go to, okay, there we go. So I think you're seeing my Dream Lab tab now.
Yeah.
You can add an image. The image will guide the creation, but it struggles very much still to merge. So for example, if you're asking it to take a student image, let's say that's the image you're going to put in, and say, turn this student into a fireman, it's not going to get it. It just isn't there yet in Canva. There might be some other tools that would work. You probably could do some image manipulation. So you might be able to get a fireman outline and put a frame on the fireman's face and then drag the student photo into the frame over the fireman's face. That possibly would work. But right now, I would say Canva's just not there yet. I have seen, I won't mention any names, but I've spoken to some people about image generators, and tattoo artists are really upset who used to do, or artists who used to commission their work for tattoos, because image generators are doing a fairly decent job of that in that use case. So even if it's kind of rough and you take it into a tattoo artist, they're able to manipulate your image into what you actually want it to look like for the tattoo. I have seen some people use that image input as a style to then craft their custom tattoo design. And it did a fairly decent job. So that might be an adult use case of the image generator for now. Cami, you're right on. Like anything that's sort of real and existing,
but think about
struggling now. But student stories are fabulous. I don't, if you tuned into our Christmas special, any of those sort of like make-believe wonky inputs create something that's a fun activity that creates a lot of excitement and conversation.
Oh, Kellyanne, when we send out the recording for this one, we'll have to attach the
Christmas one.
Canva one. That'll be fun. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording. Speaking of that.
Okay.